Hello. I wasn't actually late this time. I was on time. I had some technical issues, and that. Oh, and Discord isn't showing up either. Great. So there's more technical issues. Um, cool. Good. Good to know. How is everyone doing? Oh, and I forgot to bring up. I didn't forget to bring up water. Fantastic. Mm. Everyone is just chatting. It seems very cool. Oh my god. It has been a very, very long day. The gyms have finally opened again this week, and I'm finally back. So I'm very tired. Hmm. Hmm. Oh well. Small and personal this is. Very good. I'm glad you. I'm glad it's. I'm not actually. I'm not late. The stream started on time. 100%. The stream started on time. Whether or not I'm actually on screen is irrelevant. The Discord link does work. It does work. Just I don't know what to tell you. I someone can maybe send it in chat. I'm not sure, but there's nothing. I got it from this. I don't know what else I can do because I'm an old man and I don't understand how Discord works, to be perfectly honest with you. It's the same link as last time. It isn't. I don't think it shouldn't be. Hmm. I mean, I can check. I don't think it is the same link as last time though. You know, it's very nice that you're all immediately talking about how I look. Thank you very much. It feels so great to immediately have my appearance commented on. Fantastic. Hmm. I think I'm still having. Oh my god! Oh my god! Someone please put the Discord link in the chat. I can't do anything about it. I can't. I. I can't. I. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't get the Discord chat on screen anyway. Right now, I just had to restart my computer because there was an issue. Oh my god. Okay. Look, do you know? Okay. Right. Two 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Just give me two Do you know how I said I'd be back? I am back. The chat still isn't working, isn't it? That's fine. We won't need to use the chat. No Discord chat today, but you should still be in the Discord chat because that's where I'll actually be looking when I'm when I'm looking to see what people are talking about. Because people are in the Discord chat right now. You can't see them, but they are. God, not much has happened this week. What's everyone been up to this week? Let me know what you've been doing. I've got a new lease on life. I finally have the I'm finally gonna be making videos again. It's been like 2 months. So that might actually happen at some point soon. Hopefully, maybe by the end of this weekend. Gosh, darn it. Oh my lord. What is happening? I've been gone for a minute. I had some tech issues. I'm not really sure what's happening. My laptop, I had to restart my laptop and suddenly all of my settings are weird. Which is frustrating, especially considering I actually have no idea what I'm doing when I'm streaming. Oh god, you're doing exam prep? That sounds very stressful. I am incredibly glad that I probably don't need to take another exam in my life. Not like an actual exam. Maybe a test every now and then, but I don't need to do an exam ever again, probably. Unless I don't even know if I need to do it if I get back into academia. I don't think there's like exams. Second COVID jab. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, yes. I want that so bad. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be getting it for a long, long time. Oh. Gosh. I feel tired all of a sudden. Very tired. I do have things to talk about today, though. I do. I'll get to them at some point. Has anyone seen that Lindsay Ellis video? I might talk about that briefly, because I have some thoughts on that. If anyone's seen it. Oh, gosh. And the YouTube chat is talking about ghosts, and Discord are talking about exams. Very different conversations. Goodness me. What are we talking about? I was late to the stream. I am asking if anyone has seen Lindsay Ellis's new long apology explaining what she's done wrong video. It wouldn't be a corry stream without technical difficulties. That is incredibly true, because there are always technical difficulties every single time. Something new every time as well. By the one day, I will have covered all of the technical difficulties, and there will be none that faze me. But today is not that day. Hello, Carly G. Don't worry, we've just started. Yes, we have just started. Okay, what's going on? What is happening? Oh, so you've not seen the so some people don't know who Lindsay Ellis is. It's very, very. Thank you for the little snide comments about me. Always appreciate those. Very much enjoy those. Do you think paintings falling down is a sign someone's died? No, I think someone being dead is a sign that someone's died. A painting falling down is just a painting falling down. We see patterns everywhere. This is the thing. We're supposed to be able to see patterns because, you know, if you can see patterns, it's easier to survive. You know, like seasons. If you see patterns in seasons, if you see patterns in when the wolves are coming to attack or something like that, it's very good for surviving. You know, there's lots of reasons that patterns are useful. Looking at fruit and whatnot, you know, like figuring out which fruits kill you. All very good reasons to be able to recognize patterns. But unfortunately, human brains very much cannot stop seeing patterns to the point that we see patterns where there aren't any. Like, for example, a painting falling down meaning someone's died. Someone dies. People die very often. In fact, someone has just died now. And another person has just died now. And now, I assume, right? You could equally say every single time a puppy sneezes. You could say every single time a puppy sneezes. Like, I don't know. Someone breaks their arm. That would probably seem true enough, you know? Like, people in the world break their arms quite often, and puppies sneeze to some degree. Like, you can find patterns anywhere, so no, I don't think a painting falling down means someone's died. I think it means you should probably get new nails. Lol, Corey's a Shaniac. If he watches BuzzFeed Unsolved, he is definitely... I don't know what a Shaniac is. I do not watch BuzzFeed Unsolved. I don't like true crime unless it's not murder. I don't know if that's what BuzzFeed Unsolved is. I don't remember. I think I've seen 2 episodes. I don't know what they're called. 2 videos of it. Head has been buried. What has Lindsay Ellis done wrong? I see videos on my YouTube, but I've never watched one. Okay, cool. Let's chat about this briefly. Lindsay Ellis is a YouTuber, I guess. Oh, she's an author. Lindsay Ellis is an author who is also a YouTuber. She has been on YouTube for a long time, like over 10 years, kind of length of time, and you know, being like kind of publicly visible online for a long time, you fuck up a lot, and people hold on to that stuff. Recently, she made a tweet about a Disney film that people said was a racist tweet. I don't think it was racist. Maybe it was. I guess you could say it was tone deaf, probably at worst, but I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, Twitter went nuts. She was trending for like a weekend. She deleted her Twitter because, of course, you would when people are harassing you and attacking you and all that stuff. And then she comes back to post an hour and 40-minute long video, which I would recommend watching. I guess. I mean, it's good. I guess. I mean, I enjoyed quite a lot of it, but that sounds bad. Anyway, I thought that a lot of it was quite good. And yeah, I don't know. That's what happened with Lindsay Ellis. But she made some really good points about I guess canceling people, which are kind of similar to what I was saying about it. Whoever Lindsay Ellis is and paintings. Oh, that's what we're talking about. I was talking about Lindsay Ellis, and the paintings we're past those. A Shaniac is a person who sort of agrees with Shane, who doesn't believe in ghosted. I see. Let's move on from BuzzFeed Unsolved back onto Lindsay Ellis. So Lindsay, she posted this like hour and 40-minute long video, and some people dislike her for posting an hour and 40-minute long video because they just dislike Lindsay Ellis. And this is the thing. And I was saying this when the whole situation happened. People kind of have this thing where they want, like, they dislike someone, right? I might have spoken about this on stream before, but people have this thing where they dislike someone, and they need to justify it. So what they'll do is they'll be like, I dislike this person. Okay, for example, I could say I dislike little Alex back there. So little Alex back there, I dislike him for some reason or another. In fact, let's say it's pretty much no reason. We just don't get on, me and that tiny cardboard cutout. We don't get on. And you know, if you were a healthy person, that would probably be fine. You know, if you don't get on with someone, you just don't click, you don't like each other, all you need to do is just not be around each other. Very easy. In most situations. Online, it's incredibly easy. If you don't like someone, block them, mute them. Don't need to interact with them at all. Now, the issue is that is that people that want to feel like, I don't know, I guess morally righteous or whatever, or at least I've noticed that a lot of people find it difficult to just dislike someone for no reason. They don't want to just dislike someone for no reason because they feel like, oh, maybe I'm bad for disliking this person. And you're not necessarily bad for just not vibing with someone. That's fine. It's perfectly normal. There are a lot of people on the planet. You cannot like all of them. So these people that dislike someone but feel like disliking someone for no reason makes you like some kind of bad person or whatever. What they can do is they can find a reason. They can find a reason to dislike a person. And you see this all the time. Like, I definitely have spoken about this on stream before. Yeah, so when, like, you know, some people have, like, had a go at people that I'm friends with and been like, oh yeah, I've always had a bad feeling about them. Whenever something, like, slightly unsavory is, like, comes out about someone, and when I say slightly unsavory, I mean it could literally be, like, a tweet which is ambiguously worded, right? Like, whenever that happens, right? What they'll do is they'll be like, oh, I always had a bad feeling about this person. Oh, I didn't like them, and now I know why. Or, you know, I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but I was right to dislike them. No, you weren't right to dislike them. No, you weren't. don't be stupid. You're not right to dislike someone for no reason and then find out that they're a bad. Like that it doesn't work like that. You can't just be like, oh, this dislike I have for this random stranger on the internet whom I've never met or interacted with in any way, this random dislike is justified now because they have been called out for doing something somewhat bad. So like these, like essentially people that don't like someone will jump on anything to validate that dislike when it's not necessary. You don't need to validate disliking someone. You are perfectly allowed to dislike someone for no reason whatsoever. That's totally fine. You can do that. That's your God-given right. So essentially, like I'm saying, these people will dislike someone. They'll jump down. They'll jump onto any situation. And what ends up happening is, if you have a lot of followers, if you're someone that people are aware of, that means that there's more people that can dislike you. If you put yourself out in front of, like, you know, if you've never posted a video on YouTube in your life, and you don't post online, and you only engage with like the small group of people that you know in real life, right? Then you've got fewer people that are going to dislike you, right? But if you start putting yourself out there in front of millions of people, you're gonna have like a lot. You're gonna have a lot more people disliking you. So you end up having like people that have a genuine criticism against something that someone said, trying to express, potentially trying to express that criticism in a constructive manner. And then that's jumped on by people that genuinely just dislike someone and want to see them fall and don't really care about constructive criticism or anything like, remotely useful. And I think that's pretty much what happened with Lindsay Ellis, where she said something that some people had an issue with in regards to a bloody Disney film of all things, and a lot of people got mad because they don't like Lindsay Ellis and were like, this is the time to have a go. It's annoying actually, because it really gets in the way. Like, if someone has actually done something wrong, it's very easy to be like, it's very easy for them to write it off and be like, I can't address this because people are being mean to me, and it holds everyone back. It's unproductive and it's bloody annoying. Like, that's literally the thing that winds me up the most. That things could be a lot easier if people were just fine with disliking people. Like, there's this guy on TikTok. I've said this again. I definitely said this on stream before, but there's this guy on TikTok that I just cannot stand. He blew up for a big long story that he did on TikTok. Everyone loved it. It was hilarious. I could not fucking stand him. Could not stand him from the minute that I saw him. No reason. No real reason behind it. Like, oh, maybe he posted the story in too many parts, and then he like any reason I find would just be a stupid reason to try and justify it. I just don't like him. He grates me. Don't care. I just don't interact with him. I don't think about him often. I'm thinking about him now because I'm using him as an example, but that's pretty much it. He doesn't cross my mind at all, and I'm perfectly happy. If he does something awful, okay, that's bad. My disliking him does not play into that at all. But yeah, I guess that's the Lindsay Ellis thing, where it's just like, fucking, you see this happen all the time, where like people just want to attack other people, whether or not they've done something actually all that bad. And like, Lindsay Ellis had done stuff that was like, it was worthy for being like, hey, maybe you should talk about this, and she did talk about it. So great. I mean, it's just bloody annoying, I guess, more than anything. Just that some people cannot get over the fact that they dislike someone. I don't understand why people go out their way to find reasons to dislike others. Well, it's because you're starting off disliking someone, and it feels bad to dislike someone for no reason. Like, you could feel like a bad person. It doesn't feel nice to dislike someone for no reason, and justifying disliking someone makes disliking them a lot easier, especially when, like, it's justifying it by saying, not just saying, oh, it's their laugh that annoys me. They have an annoying laugh. That's justifying it a little bit. But when you can justify it by being like, oh, they're morally bad, that makes it even, because then it's not just like neutral for disliking someone. You're actually good for disliking that person. It just winds me up. I think I'm getting a rash on my hand. Oh, what's this? People think that they know everything about a person from their internet profiles. That is something that actually winds me up as well. A lot, you know. People will think that people will think they know that people will think that they know people they follow to an insane degree. And what you see a lot is people will like pick out one little thing that they know about you, and they'll bring that up as though, you know, almost to kind of like show you, oh yeah, I know this about you. You know, like they'll mention something from your life that you mentioned online, and you're like, okay, I still don't know you though, so thank you for remembering this thing about me, but we're still not friends. It's incredible the lengths that people will go to like try and know more about someone's like personal life, and also the fact that just like people don't people don't really seem to understand that like pretty much everything you see about someone online is curated. Like they have decided to show you that, unless of course like it's something that was uploaded uh, or posted without their consent, in which case they haven't decided to show you that. And there's that doesn't necessarily happen ridiculously often, you know, and there might be a reason they might not want to upload it. Like it's just interesting to me that people think they know that people think they know completely someone that they've only interacted with online. What's this saying? It's really annoying when someone makes one mistake, acknowledges it, apologizes, doesn't do it again, but it's too late. They're already cancelled, and you can't ever mention them again without being without being bad. Yes, that is right. Especially when it's a mistake from decades ago that they've actually shown they've grown from. Yeah. No, I agree. It's frustrating. It's difficult to grow online now because people will hang on. Like I remember, I was on Tumblr back when your favorite's problematic was a huge thing. Like that was frustrating, especially because it put stuff like Taylor Swift wore jeans that were not environmentally friendly up against this man has been accused of harassing 100,000 women. Like they'll put like things that are like not like they'll put crimes up against like, oh that was maybe a, like being rude to a fan. Like it's ridiculous. What's going on here? What's going on in Discord? People think they know everything about a person from their internet profiles. I've read that out already, and that is true. Oh, a lot of people don't understand boundaries either. Yeah, I get that. I get that sometimes people don't understand boundaries, and it is uncomfortable. I think one thing as well, right, with when it comes to boundaries, people don't realize that they're crossing a boundary because they'll when they think of someone crossing a boundary, they think of someone showing up to your house or like, you know, sending you sending you message after message after message as though they're your friends, or like actually digging into your like sort of like personal life. But like boundaries also apply to like, for example, commenting on how someone looks. Like, do you know what? I can comment on how I can comment on how my friends look sometimes because I know we have boundaries. Like there's this clear and established boundaries, and if like something if something is said that is hurtful, we can address that and then, you know, like have a conversation about it. But all too often, you see people like making like weird comments about how people they follow look. Like I get comments about my nose ring all the time, and it's annoying. Like I don't like honestly, I don't care what any of you think about my nose ring. I don't care about what like any of you think about how I look, because it's not for you. Like I don't care. But what I do care about is people commenting on it, because it's annoying. Just you don't need to comment on how people look. You can compliment people. You can be like, oh, you look good today. That's sure, that's fine. But like little if you would make a joke with your friend, doesn't necessarily mean you could make that joke with someone you follow online. Like for example, I mean, if you could make that kind of joke to someone that you're sat next to on the bus, then you could probably say it to someone you follow online. If you can't say it to someone that you just sat down next to on a bus, you probably shouldn't say it to someone you follow online. Oh gosh, what's going on in the chats? there are a lot of people that are getting cancelled for something they did like 4 years ago. Yeah, it's weird. I feel like a pattern of behavior is very different from like saying something and then growing from it. Like private growth is something that people will afford to themselves but not others. I've seen so many tweets from people when they're like in the midst of canceling someone where they're like, "Oh yeah, I've like done my I've grown from this. I've been accountable for my actions." Have you been accountable for your actions though? Like, have you been accountable for your actions in front of like 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 15,000 people? Have you been accountable for your actions in front of 15,000 people, 100,000? You haven't, have you? It's not this. It's not quite the same thing. Like, it's difficult and frustrating. This like kind of like need for sort of constant public apologies for any sort of like little thing, just or public like sort of acknowledgement of any little thing is just it's a lot. I think I feel like there should be maybe be a little bit more leniency for people. Either that or people should just stop using the internet. um like the whole thing about someone you don't know thinking you have a relationship that you really don't. Yeah, but then like this is the thing, people don't understand parasocial relationships fully either. Like people think that it's purely like an influencer or like creator like follower thing, but it's I mean you can easily have a parasocial relationship with someone that like for example a friend of a friend that you follow on Instagram, right? Like parasocial relate I feel like often when creators talk about parasocial relationships they don't think about them in the full scope. You either have people saying like often I've seen people that say um that are like, oh, creators are abusing their parasocial relationships with their viewers, which is true, and also other people being like, oh, and viewers aren't aware of their parasocial relationships, which is true. But like also being aware of a parasocial relationship, and this is backed up by some stud. I can't remember the exact studies. If you go to the Sci Guys episode on it, you'll find it. We mentioned it there. But no, knowing about being aware of a parasocial relationship, being aware of the concept of parasocial relationships, does not make you much more immune to does not make you much more immune to having them. Hold on, I'm just gonna go kick someone out from the chat because that's annoying. I am on a warpath today. I am not taking any shit. Do you know what? No, I'm not gonna kick them. That's fine. But whoever you are, you're on your last warning. People can be cancelled for anything, I guess. Yeah, but I don't want to. I don't want to get to the narrative of like, oh, people get cancelled, therefore it is like any kind of attempt to hold someone accountable for what they're doing is bad and wrong. I feel like it's a difficult line to walk, and it's just shit. There's no like great option for it, to be honest. There's no like, because obviously you don't want it to be a case where like, oh, there is no accountability, but also people will then use the sort of guise of accountability to just like fucking attack people they dislike. What is this? People can bounce from anything. It's so scary. I love the Sci Guys episode about parasocial relationships. Thank you very much. It was very, very fun to do. Shaba was a great guest, and Shaba knew a lot about parasocial relationships as well. And actually, you should go check out Shaba as well on YouTube. Yes, Shaba. You can find Shaba. It's very easy to find Shaba. On YouTube, not at her house. Oh, what's going on? What's going on in Discord? Haven't looked at it for a while. What's going on? People can be cancelled for anything, I guess. I've read that out. I have this issue where I'm constantly forgetting what I've just read out. This is nah. So someone's talking about a situation where someone apparently was cancelled for speaking Spanish, and like, it's just blah. I mean, I feel like the word cancelled is overused, but also it's just a situation that actually I don't want to talk about on stream anymore because I haven't thought it through, to be perfectly honest. Not enough to talk about today. But there's something I did want to talk about, which was, have you seen or are you aware of Cops Hate Mo. Do you all know who Cops Hate Mo is? I don't know. I'm having trouble talking today. Anyone? Yes, I love Jamie and Shaba. Yes, that is good. That is a correct opinion. That is the only correct opinion. Oh dear me. But yeah, Cops Hate Mo. Does anyone know who Cops Hate Mo is? I'm talking very slowly now to hopefully try and wait for the lag to catch up with everyone. Cancel culture is something that no one can figure out and don't want to. I don't think it's something that no one can figure out. I think it's. I mean, there's people that have got like. I mean, there's people that I sure as hell disagree with on their takes on it, but I don't think it's not able to. You can't figure it out. I think it's fairly. It's not straightforward, but it's fairly easy to grasp. Mo, yes, people know who Mo is. So if people, okay, so Mo does videos on YouTube. Mo, you might know Mo from their video on oh, they've done lots of videos. I won't talk specifically about the one I was going to mention, but yeah, Mo, Cops Ain't Mo, YouTuber, lives in New Zealand, very very lovely person. Anyway, do we know who Rose of Dawn is? And I would. This is the thing. I would show you Mo's Twitter right now, but they've deleted their Twitter, and we'll get to that in a little sec. But do we know who Rose of Dawn is? If you say no, that's perfectly fine. And in fact, if you would like to leave before we talk about who Rose of Dawn is, that's also perfectly fine because your life would probably be a little bit nicer not having to know who she is. But Moses like the bartender? No, not Moses like the bartender. Cops ain't Mo. We've been over this. Very straightforward. Okay, so we seem to not know who Rose of Dawn is, which is perfectly fine. I'm about to ruin all of your lives. I'm joking. I am absolutely joking. I'll only ruin your evening. Let's let's look at let's look at where is it? What? What's going on? Oh, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Oh, cool. Great. So, right. Let's have a look. Let's look here. Do we see the Twitter? We see Twitter. But we've also got the Discord chat up, which we don't want to have up. We want to get rid of that. So, let's get rid of it right now. I say right now, I mean in a sec. Okay, that should be it. Is that it? No, that's not it. Ah, that's it. This is a bloody mess. What's going on? Aha, here we go. Fuck. Give me 2 seconds. Jesus Christ. Okay, I fixed it. I sorted it. This is Rose of Dawn's Twitter. These are some little oh gosh. These are some tweets of Rose of Dawn. Let me set the scene for you. So I would love to show you the inciting incident, but I actually can't because Mo has deleted their Twitter. Well, not deleted their Twitter. They've deleted all their tweets. But essentially, what happened was Mo said that Mo jokingly said that they would like to curb stomp a particularly offensive person, self-proclaimed offensive person. Actually, I think a Danish Trump supporter, which if you're gonna make your whole like online identity about being offensive and like, oh, really riling people up. It's very, very funny to me that you would also be choose to be a Trump supporter despite having like no connection to America. But whatever. Anyway, Mo made a joke about curb stomping this offensive person, which, not gonna lie, don't agree with. That was a stupid thing to do. I think that was a silly thing to do. Probably best to avoid threats of violence when it comes to people you disagree with. I think. I just think we should avoid it because it just leads to crappy situations like this. Yeah, so Mo said that. Mo, bearing in mind, generally fairly lovely person. and then what happened after that was some people got involved, particularly Rose of Dawn, who then said, as you can see here, saying you want to curb stop someone is unhinged. Not a chance Mo would accept the just bans argument if it was said by someone they disagreed with. When you misgendering trans people, it's literal violence, but when we say we want to curb stomp those we disagree with, it's just bants. Can't you take a joke? But also, yeah, we totally try to ruin your life if you say something that upsets us, because words have consequences. And then just a screenshot of Mo blocking her, because why would they not? Anyway, Mo went on. No, Mo didn't delete their Twitter. Mo just deleted their tweets. But Mo then went on to kind of like kind of apologize for the tweet, which honestly, I think their apology was like probably not great to try and fall back on. Oh, I was just joking. When you've said something like that, you know. And this is the thing, like gonna be totally honest. I like Mo. I don't like Rose of Dawn. But I think that this whole situation, Mo is a bit oh, what's going on? Oh, I literally just got some texts saying that my stream wasn't working, but actually it's fine. Anyway, no, being totally upfront, right? I like Mo. I like them. I don't like Rose of Dawn very much. But this kind of situation, I think Mo did not necessarily handle the best. Honestly, I don't think they handled this very well. Like, their apology kind of been like, oh, well, like, I was joking. Like, I obviously don't want to curb stomp this person. I mean, even thinking about this, it's like I don't know Mo terribly well, but as well as I know Mo, it seems that they're not really the person that would actually want to curb stomp someone. So I fully believe that they were joking. I don't think that necessarily justifies, saying all is justifies the joke, but whatever. Anyway, that is not really necessarily what I want to talk about, because it's pretty cut and dry. Mo said something silly and then made a kind of silly apology. And yeah, like, what are you gonna do? Mo is gonna I assume that Mo has probably is probably gonna learn from this situation and be more careful in future, probably, right? There's not really much to talk about there. I have given you pretty much all of my thoughts on what Mo has said on this. But Rose of Dawn obviously picked it up, saying, like I showed you, saying you want to curb stomp someone is unhinged, sort of regardless of whether it's a joke or not. Like, okay, cool. And here's some more tweets from Rose of Dawn. Brendan Beckwith also got involved. I'm not going to explain who Brendan is because time. Brennan also does YouTube stuff. You can literally just search for Brennan online. You will find Brennan. So Rose of Dawn says narrative control and action to deflect from wanting to curb stomp this offensive person. The tactic is now to try and smear myself, because for those in the back, it's unacceptable for mean comments to be posted on a YouTube video. It is acceptable to call for violence. Any rational person would know that that one is blatantly more extreme than the other. but we're dealing with a community that openly embraces targeting of their opponents by any means necessary, whilst also considering any slight against them beyond the pale. What's important to recognize, though, is that these people work on two sets of morality. One for their friends, and another for their enemies. This is why they support violent threats against their opponents, but whine about mean comments not even made by me. They're always aware of the hypocrisy. They openly embrace it. Oh, I forgot to mention something. So Mo apologized, then also Mo went and told a story about when they were 18, and they had like I think 1,000 subscribers or whatever on YouTube, or under 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. They went onto a stream or a video or something with Rose of Dawn and got a lot of awful comments. And then ended up being doxxed, and all of that. And basically, I think what they were saying was that Rose Dawn was kind of irresponsible and not necessarily, wasn't necessarily particularly caring of Mo's well-being in doing that. Which, again, like, okay, yeah, I mean, I don't fully disagree with that. I don't fully disagree with that. That's as much as I can say. There's not really much I can talk about because I don't actually have most tweets in front of me. But yeah, I think generally people should probably be like I when dealing with people that are young and not necessarily used to posting videos online or whatever, you should try and be careful about what you expose them to. And also, I don't know, comment moderation is a thing. You can do that. Whatever. Anyway, so back onto Rose of Dawn tweets. They're aware of the hypocrisy. They openly embrace it. It's a fundamental part of their rhetoric, as seen when they explain why everything they do is acceptable, whereas their opponents are irredeemable. But most importantly, you do not want the approval of moral lepers. These are not people who you want to have on your side. They do not wish to engage in honest conversation. They only wish to drag you... I can't believe I almost said honest. They only wish to drag you down by any means necessary, even if they have to clutch at straws to do so. So observe, but don't engage them directly. It's wasted energy. It's frustrating, though, that this is the rhetoric that's overarching the trans community, that the overarching trans community has decided to willingly embrace. It makes it toxic for trans people who aren't extremists, regardless of their positions, and to outsiders, it looks insane. To summarize, the outrage being generated against me is happening because I called out those who voiced a violent opinion regarding this offensive person. Let that sink in. I think it's helpful to make a distinction between the radicals and the wider trans community. There are plenty of trans people and even non-binaries who dislike the extremism going on. Great. A very good one, Rose of Dawn. First off, kind of ignoring that you also probably have quite extreme opinions on trans people, it seems. I don't think you're necessarily slap bang in the middle there, placing yourself as the reasonable position. Sure, whatever, okay. But I'll also I love there are plenty of trans people and even non-binaries. Love that choice of words. Love it. Let's not unpack that one, shall we? But yeah, this is pretty interesting. What she's said there. There's not too much I want to talk about, other than the fact that when I read this, I thought it was very funny that she was basically, what happened here was Mo said something I think particularly silly, right? I don't think Mo was genuinely calling for violence. I don't think that's actually, but I don't think that, me thinking that is particularly relevant. I think Mo said something like particularly silly. I think Mo said something like that if they actually didn't believe it, then it's honestly best to refrain from saying that. And also, if you do believe it, then you should stop believing that. But like, I don't think it was necessarily a threat. I don't have the tweet to show you, so I can't. But like, I remember from reading it, I didn't necessarily read it as a threat. It seemed more like a joke. But that's kind of, and look, honestly, all of that is irrelevant. Whether like, the point here is that I think what Mo said was kind of silly, right? But and then defend, like, kind of the apology wasn't necessarily great, and Brennan, what Brennan said here, Brennan also said something to the effect of making a joke about harming someone for harmful views is not the same as wanting to harm someone for their identity, which I can understand that, yeah, but also I don't think that justifies making a joke about harming someone for their harmful views. Um, anyway, all of that aside, my point here is that I think it's very funny that Rose of Dawn took Brennan and Mo kind of defending something that Mo has said, and then extrapolated that out to be the entire, like, tried to extrapolate that out to be the the trans community or the trans extremists. Like, come on, like, work a little harder than that. Like, do you like? I I don't know if that's truly the case. I mean, like, it's just interesting that she's trying to like this interaction with this one interaction with Mo, where Mo is generally most generally got a pretty good track record. They haven't really done anything particularly awful, really, at all. This would be like this situation, this whole thing is more of an outlier than a rule. So it's really interesting that Rose of Dawn has jumped on this and decided to say, "Ah, this is what everyone is like, actually," because it just doesn't seem to be the case. And try and be like trying to say like, oh, there's one rule for us and one rule for everyone else. You know, these are the kind of people that make up you know, like that sort of represent this double standard. But I don't think I don't think Rose of Dawn has really clearly thought this through very well. We'll see. We'll see why in a second. So she's also tweeted, "You're expected to respect the pronouns of people who, in turn, will call for violence and harassment against you unless you capitulate to their every demand." Think about that. I just find it fascinating. You can use someone's preferred pronouns, and it's expected that you show them enough respect to always do it without question. But in turn, that person can slander you, issue threats, and bait harassment, and that's fine. The point is, there's not always an equal level of respect. I don't think you should have to show respect to people who refuse to respect you. That includes pronouns, because why give someone that courtesy when they consider you a piece of shit anyway? I just think that the abuse I've faced from online trans activists and the recent abuse from that offensive person, the recent abuse that offensive person has received, and the things that were thrown after a bunch of other people I don't want to talk about, and others, the abuse we get is consistently encouraged and condoned. I mean, like, by some people, yeah, but by a lot of other people, it's condemned. Like, personally, I've specifically said, don't do that quite often, right? Like, kind of trying to say that, like, oh, first it's funny because at first it was, oh, these extremists that have kind of like that the overarching trans community have accepted are the ones that do this, but now it's the entire left that are doing it, and it's just getting bigger. From now on, I refuse to use the correct pronouns for those who engage in and condone harassment. And yeah, we're dealing with deranged moral lepers who embrace degeneracy and extremism whilst constantly playing the victim card every chance they get. Treat them like the children they are. Hilarious that Rose of Dawn is also describing herself. Kind of, isn't she? In that, look, put it this way, right? Degeneracy, I do not have the time right now to tell you why the idea of degeneracy is just silly, but there are plenty of videos you can watch about that. What she's saying here about talking about extremism, it's interesting. It's interesting that she will talk about extremism and like exclude herself from that, because her views about trans people are kind of at the other extreme. You know, the idea of, oh, well, actually respecting someone's pronouns is a privilege, not a right, sort of thing. Something that I can rescind if I dislike you. That's I don't think that's necessarily a moderate opinion to have on how to treat trans people. And like if you literally like she I'm pretty sure she's got a what is it called? I'm pretty sure she's got like a video series on her channel called Trans Stupid or something. Like I don't think it's fair for her to kind of try and place herself as being like a moderate, and constantly playing the victim card every chance they get. Literally, what is she doing right now? That is like 2 tweets after being like, everyone here like gets abuse, like all of us get abuse from these people, and it's encouraged. But like, she was just tweeting before about how, oh, it's like totally not my fault that Mo got abuse from being on my channel. Like, is she just not thinking about that at all? Like, at all? And when it comes to harassment, a few months ago, she literally was trying to either make fun of or condemn ContraPoints for having an addiction. Like, Rose of Dawn is not someone who is continually kind and nice to people. She is mean, she is rude, and she is disrespectful by her own metrics. No one should have to like gender her correctly. And it's really interesting to me that there is this group of sort of trans people that that kind of like seem to they seem to have these views that almost invalidate themselves. Like, instead of having the idea that, oh, if someone is trans, then you just use the, like, it's not a big deal to use the right pronouns, because it's just the, like, you know, it's just the pronouns that you use for the person, because that's the pronouns that they want you to use. Like, you use the pronouns that anyone wants you to use. You use the name that anyone wants you to use. Like, it's fundamentally the same as, like, if I'm like, oh, my middle name, like, my first name isn't actually Corey. Corey is my middle name, but everyone just calls me by Corey because that's what I want them to call me by, or this particular nickname. Or, hey, you know, don't shorten my name to Core or whatever, because that makes me uncomfortable, right? Like, it's not exactly the same thing, of course, but it's fundamentally in action. They're no different, right? Using a specific pronoun compared to like using a specific name for someone. And it's just baffling to me that because she so wants to misgender these people to hurt them, because she knows that that's something, like, she knows that misgendering people is like something that is not just like, she knows that it's something that can hurt people, that it you know, that it takes some kind of mental toll on people. So she's like, oh, okay, I want to hurt these people, I'll justify doing that. But in doing so, she's basically saying like, oh yeah, like, trans people aren't really the gender that they say they are, because you can rescind their access to, you can rescind, like, you know, you can rescind your use of the correct pronouns, because, like, we all know, like, come on, like, you can dislike what Mo and Brennan did, or what, like, Mo and Brennan said. Sure, you can think that they're disrespectful. That doesn't mean that you need to try and justify misgendering them, because literally the person that she is doing all this about, like, the person that sort of started this whole sort of situation, the person that is at the center of this inciting incident, is literally called online the offensive T-slur. So, like, it's weird to kind of make this whole bloody argument around being respectful when you're doing it to defend someone whose entire MO is disrespect. Like, come on. Just fucking stupid more than anything. But I need to sort out my TV, so let's look at the chat. What's going on in the chat? What's going on? Didn't this offensive person say on Twitter that non-trans people putting their pronouns in their bios cultural appropriation? That was a joke, I assume. But, like, it's just this. This is the thing, right? Another reason I want to bring this up, other than, let me just say again, pronouns aren't a privilege. Like, it's not something that you could just be like, oh, well, if you don't give me absolute respect, then I will take away using the correct pronouns for you. That's not really something, because then, like, you're basically just saying, oh, no one needs to be, you can disrespect trans people if you dislike them, or if they're mean to you, right? It's like, it's the equivalent of being like, oh, well, I can call any black person the N-word so long as they're disrespectful. Like, come on, like, because you don't need to respect this black person, like, if they're being disrespectful to you, and the N-word is disrespectful, right? Like, come on. Like, the thing is about pronouns and stuff. There's this whole discourse about, and so often you see it from TERFs, and it's just interesting to see it coming from. Give me a second. So often you see this this kind of stuff coming from TERFs. Like, I used to be in a Facebook group where basically a Facebook group where TERFs would where TERFs and trans, like, it was literally called TERFs versus TRAs or something, but where TERFs and people who thought themselves as trans rights activists, which it's very odd that, like, the opposite of TERF in that context is trans right activist. Like, you in order to be the opposite of a TERF, you need to be someone that is actively trying to fight for trans rights. Like, in the it's just very, very funny, as opposed to TERF being someone that, you know, actively is against trans rights, and just any fucking other person that doesn't think that trans people should be like should be subjected to transphobia, whatever. Anyway, I used to be in this Facebook group where TERFs and people in support of trans rights would could, like, put their opinions and, like, talk to each other, and it would often end up in debates. But so often I've seen TERFs use this thing where it's like, oh, well, you asking me to use different pronouns than the ones I think I should use for you, that is you asking me to do, like, you're asking me to go out of my way to do that. You're enforcing that upon me. You're forcing these pronouns that I don't think you should have on me. When in reality, it's just like, it is so, like, it's almost entirely arbitrary anyway. Like, they're just words. The only thing that actually makes them matter is that they make some people, they're using one word makes some people feel uncomfortable, and using another word will make them feel comfortable. Ultimately, they are just words that it does not fucking matter. Like, switching from he to she, it's like a sh sound. It's not that fucking hard for you to do, right? So, just acting like you, like, trying to justify it by being, oh, this is a thing about respect, when really, come on, surely it's just because you just want to be mean to them, because you just want to hurt them. It's not about, oh, I won't give you respect. It's like you're actively trying to disrespect them. You're actively trying to disrespect their identities because you feel like they've disrespected you. Surely, if you feel like you're in the right here, you've got the moral high ground, you wouldn't actively try and disrespect them for disrespecting you. Surely you wouldn't do that. You'd be like, oh, these people are disrespecting me? Well, I know they're wrong. I'm better than that. Come on. Like, why do you need to actively go after them? Like, trying to make the argument that fucking not using the correct pronouns for trans people is something that is fine, is something that is really fucking bold for an incredibly, like, rude trans person to do, because you're just opening yourself up for people to not gender you correctly, right? It's got insane vibes. Like, the vibes are insanely similar to that bloody debate that Blair White had, where this raging transphobe was calling her a man, and she was just sitting there and taking it, and actually almost taking the side of the transphobe on some things. It's just like, okay, cool. Are you gonna stand up for yourself, or are you gonna side with the people that are very clear about hating you? Like, it's so incredible to me to see someone act so against their own self-interest, purely. Okay, right. Like, obviously, not saying this is exactly, like, I'm not trying to say that I absolutely know her motives. I'm speculating here, but it's so interesting for me to see that, like, see someone act so against their own self-interest purely to hurt someone else, right? It's like it's like a double-edged sword. Like, it's like you're oh yeah, sure, you're stabbing that, but you're getting yourself as well. But yeah, like, the idea that pronouns are a reward given, correct pronouns are a reward given to trans people for being good, is just a silly and harmful idea, to be perfectly honest. But that's not fully what I want to talk about. I also want to talk about how fucking stupid this whole thing is, and how silly it is that I spent this much time talking about it, because it doesn't matter that much. Mo is not gonna attack any of these people at all. I think we all know that. I think most of us are pretty comfortable in knowing that Mo is not going to harm anyone by curb stomping them. Mo deleted the tweet. Mo apologized. Not a great apology, being perfectly honest. But the solution to that situation is not, okay, well, since you guys were rude to me and you didn't give a good enough apology, I'm gonna misgender you. It's silly. Try this is what's baffling to me. These petty little disputes between people, these petty little individual disputes, and like obviously starting off the situation, Mo was I can't remember. I think Mo was responding to something that that offensive person said. But like turning this kind of stuff into petty disputes and then trying to turn it back into being some kind of like left versus right thing is just incredibly tiring. Like, Jesus, like Rose of Dawn basically having a go at, I think, a teenager, right? Having a go at, I think, a teenager, and then trying to extrapolate that out to being, oh, this is what all the left are like, and then going on to say, oh, this now I don't need to use the correct pronouns if you're mean to me. Like, okay, does this really need to be a fucking thing? Like, it's so, who is this helping? What is this furthering? Like, what is the actual point? Like, you're not actually helping anyone. This dispute is about nothing, really. It's not really about the left condoning harassment of it's not really about the left condoning harassment of like people on the right. Not really. It's kind of what it's about. But it's not really hugely what it's about, because the solution and conclusion that you came to is not a constructive conversation about condoning harassment. It is just it's a the conclusion that's come to. Like the end point of this is ignoring all of the shit that you do and say, to basically imposing a double standard so that you can then justify misgendering people that you don't like. Like, such a fucking pointless thing. Because honestly, really, how the situation could have gone down is, oh, like, Mo said something bad. Mo, you said something bad. Like, Mo comes back and apologizes. Mo, this was a bad apology because of XYZ. You shouldn't condone harassment of people. You shouldn't condone, you shouldn't necessarily make jokes about this because this, and this. Done. Like, it doesn't need to be tried. You don't need to try and turn it into, oh, the left is condoning harassment of people on the right, because there is a conversation there. There's absolutely a conversation about groups of people within other groups condoning or calling for or dismissing harassment of people outside that group. But it's not something that's exclusive to the left, and it's certainly something that you see very often on the right. Like, it's just, Twitter disputes like this are so fucking pointless. And then it often results in people just saying absolute batshit stuff, like, I don't need to respect trans people's pronouns because sometimes people are mean to me. Like, okay, cool. Glad we got there. What's everyone saying in the chats? I don't get Blair White at all. She hurts my brain. Yeah, no, don't. I was very happy when I didn't know who Blair White was. I think slightly happier than I am now. Maybe unrelated. I get confused, like genuinely confused by the people like Blair White, like they're oppressing and hating you too. Yeah. Look, this is. I feel like with the whole Blair White thing, with that debate where there was the transphobe calling her a man, the situation there is, it's like, you kind of, again, this is speculation. I'm not saying this is exactly what's going through their minds. This is just, like, from observation, what it seems to be is that, like, if you are part of a group that is being oppressed by another group, you can do this thing where you can, and you've okay, right. Let me give some context. So, you might know that whiteness is not... This sounds like it's a non sequitur, but it's related, I promise me. You might be aware that whiteness is not a strict... Like, it doesn't have a strict definition, right? For example, Irish people in America used to not really be classed as white. Same as Italian people in America used to not be classed as white, but now they are. You know, they're classed as they're in with the whites. They made it. You know, they made that. They hit the goal. They did it. The place everyone wants to achieve. So they used to not be white. And what they kind of did, I think like, so there used to be sort of like Irish people would be kind of in neighborhoods with a lot of black people and stuff, as far as I'm aware. And so I think what ended up happening is essentially like Irish people got sort of kind of more political power in some ways by like through certain means. Can't be bothered going fully into it, but essentially what you do is you align yourself with whiteness as much as you can, right? And try and shove all of that fucking hatred onto black people, like trying to like scapegoat one group to almost like save yourself in a sense, right? And I mean that ended up clearly working because Irish people are white in America now, pretty much. Like, you know, and yeah, I feel like that's kind of what seems to be going on with Blair White, and even say like certain LGBT other LGBT right wingers. So Blair White will do this thing where she like goes with the people that say are transphobic and like say they hate trans people, and she's like, yeah, those trans people are pretty awful. Like, they are irrational, right? They are crazy, silly views they've got. I'm aware. Like, I kind of agree with you. I'm one of the good ones. And I'm actually like a real trans person, you know, not like these crazy people and these ones that want like all of that stuff. That's the kind of thing that she does. And it basically to kind of like get on their good side, be one of the good ones, be a kind of safe one, in the same way that say straight people will be like straight acting gay men will be like, oh yeah, like yeah, I'm not like those flamboyant, like I'm not like those fags, you know. That's what they'll do to try and like deflect homosexuality away from them onto the more sort of like the easier targets, the more flamboyant gay people. So yeah, like pick me. It's like the pick me energy. That's essentially what it is. So you like basically deflect all of the hatred onto the more vulnerable members of your group, in hopes that at some point you will basically be able to assimilate into the other group. You'll basically be able to assimilate into the sort of oppressor group, or the sort of more powerful group, right? Which again, you see with basically what happened with the Italians and the Irish becoming whites, and with like straight acting gay men basically being straight acting gay men that are themselves fairly fucking homophobic. But the issue with Blair is that what she's doing doesn't necessarily seem to be working, because it doesn't. What she's doing is not getting herself out of the line of fire. She's just putting herself to the end of the line. You know what I mean? Right? Like, okay, these people that like really, truly, vehemently fucking despise trans people, you can't convince them out of it. You can't be like, oh, I'm one of the good ones. You're one of the good ones. They'll tolerate you till all the other ones are out of the way, and then you're still trans. So like, fucking goodbye, right? Like, it's like people that are like really truly homophobic are like, yeah, they'll hate people that are flamboyantly and like loudly gay, and they'll tolerate someone that is straight acting until like, you know, like they'll tolerate them, but they won't like actually accept them, because they at their core they're homophobic. They don't like gay people. So in order to like like if you've got the goal of like trying to like actually assimilate, or trying to deflect all of the hate onto another group without like and like get out of the line of fire, it's not going to end up working, right? Because let's say it actually works, and like let's say like you actually get your way, and like all of that hatred is deflected onto the other group. At some point, let's say that other, like the rest of the group is gone, you're still going to be standing there, and they're not going to like you either, right? It's like it's a process of elimination sort of thing. Like you're not gonna be out of it forever. What's going on? Yeah, so like pan or omni people being biphobic or vice versa, their sexualities are so similar, like why are you hating? That's fucking dumb. That's like that's like an English person saying, "Oh, the British are awful." Hey, Japan falls under the bi umbrella, so like, shut up, basically. Um, Same thing with LGBT people being biphobic. Like, why would you? I think that's kind of different, though. Well, I mean, it's kind of similar, actually. Yeah, I think it's more. I think it's more like lesbian and like LGBT people being transphobic, right? Because the LGBT movement was pushed forward to. It's been pushed forward to this area of like kind of comfortability for not like overall across the world for all people, but like relative to say 60 years ago, things are more comfortable for you if you're like a cis white gay man, for example, right? Like you're likely to be fairly likely to have a fair amount of privilege, um, in comparison to what you would have done quite some time ago, and that leads some people to be like, oh, well, I'm kind of comfortable here. I kind of got we got the marriage. I'm not allowed to be fired for being gay. Um, Generally feeling pretty good. Don't want to risk any of the stuff we've got now to help the other groups that are maybe a little bit more oppressed than us. So we're gonna cut ourselves off. And then you've got the LGBT movement. Like they just like it's just it's weird to me. There's so many. It just seems there's so many people that that like that will give up when like, will give up on the fight when they're like feeling a little bit when they feel that they're kind of safe. What's this called? White feminism as its at its finest. Yeah, white feminism is another thing where it's um, like yeah. So like you've got white women that are like, oh yeah, we've done it. With feminism over. It's like, but what about all the other women? It's just, like help them too. Um, yeah, I think. Oh yeah, so this is the thing, right? When I say Irish Americans are. It's weird because an Irish American is not like necessarily the same as an Irish person in the UK. Like the cult. I mean, they've got obviously the same roots. Like they've come from Ireland, but no, like obviously it's very different in terms of like the same with like an Italian American is very different to an Italian person. Like their culture, like overall, they can be quite different. Oof, what's going on? What's going on? I'm trying to read through all of this chat, but there's been so much. I don't understand LGBTQ people who are transphobic or homophobic, etc. Because you know what it's like to be hated for who you are. So why would you want to make others feel the same way? Um, yeah, but also like I'm like if you're not hating anymore, if you don't hate anymore, then you don't need to worry too much about it. But also, it's like you see this happening with like I feel like you see this happening with so many groups. Like there's kind of infighting after a certain point. I can't really think very clearly right now, so I won't get too into it. Don't take what I've said as anything because that sentence was not well thought out. It's getting late. Um, but yeah, what's going on? Me at 12. Me at 12, I'm not like other girls. Me now, yeah, it's because I'm not a girl. Yeah, I love your stuff. It's very always very funny. I don't understand biphobia amongst LGBTQIA community. Like, as a lesbian, I've been scrolling through the lesbian side of TikTok. There's so many people dissing bis for liking men. Yeah, it's weird because like this kind of like the thing with bi people is that it's interesting because like um like people you tend to get it from both sides, don't you? Like you know straight people will think like straight people will essentially think you're gay. Like if you're a man, right, and you show any interest in men, that's gay. That's gay. Like it's gay to like a man. If you like women too, whatever. This is a default. It's normal. But if you like a man, that's gay. Is you're labeled gay regardless of your interest in any other group. If you're interested in a man, you're basically gay, right? Whereas gay men are like, oh no, like a bi man, you like women? Ew, no, you're not gay. So you kind of get shoved from both sides into the middle. It's just interesting because, like, you know, gay people will think, oh, like you hear some people saying that, like, oh, bi people have like um passing privilege, which, like, to an extent can, like, yeah, like that can actually, like, that can be the case in some instances, but I think it's maybe a little bit more complex than that, because often you then have people who are bi, and in what is like from the outside, like, let's say you've got a couple. Okay, let's for example say you've got a couple who are bi, but they are, it's a man and a woman, for example. On the outside, that looks like a straight relationship, right? And you'll seem like a straight couple. So people will maybe not be comfortable with allowing you in LGBT spaces, and so then you don't have access to those spaces as much as you'd want, because people will assume that you're straight. And even then, if you're bi and in a straight relationship, people will just be like, oh well, you're not bi then, which isn't great. I mean, there's a whole lot of issues, because I mean, bi people face a lot of the same issues that gay and lesbian people face, and then also some other stuff as well. But then also there's some benefits. It's complicated stuff. It's complex, like everything. It's all complex. Biphobia on TikTok is something. Yeah, look, this is the thing. I feel like not everyone is in, like, curious, I guess, is the best way to describe it. Not everyone is curious. Not everyone, like, cares about trying to learn about stuff all the time. So you end up having people that, like, while they are a member of an oppressed group, they're not necessarily too engaged in understanding a lot about all of that. So they can then have their own, like, sort of they can then, like, sort of add on to oppression just through not being, like, necessarily educated in the situation, which is a thing that happens all the time, to be honest. But yeah, it is what it is. There is something we can do about it, but honestly, I'm so fucking tired. I don't even know what it is. Don't know what I'm saying. What's going on in here? Ooh, loving my Friday. I'm loving your Friday streams. Thank you very much. I'm enjoying them also. I'm feeling a little bit worn out this weekend. I don't know why it is. Feels like so much later than it is. This might have to be a short stream. But if I do end now, what I will do is go through and get clips from the past couple weeks, maybe, or do something else. I don't know. Yeah. I feel weird. Yeah. Yeah. Goodness me. What's going on? Why don't we have a quick chat, and then I think I'm gonna go. I think that's what I'll do. I think I'll have a chat, and then I will go. So let's have some questions, or not, and I might just leave early, because, like I said, I'm losing steam. I'm getting sleepy. What's going on? 69 viewers. Very good. Perfect number. Perfect place to end. I don't know if I can do this song on my stream now. I'm sorry for singing at you. Honestly, sometimes when I stream, I forget that people are watching. Am I up to much this weekend? I'm working this weekend, as I do most weekends. So, no more than normal, I don't think. Very, very boring. I'm a very boring person. I mean, everyone's a boring person right now. Who's that in the background? That is Lil Alex, as I like to call him. It's a little cardboard cutout of Alex Bertie. He sits and he watches me while I work. Just to make sure that I'm working hard. Because otherwise I'd slack off, you know, if I didn't have Lil Alex watching over me. Sci Guys, yeah, so Sci Guys live on Sunday at 2 p.m. Oh shit. Huh. Well, I forgot to post for Sci Guys. That is no bueno. Oh well. Have you been keeping up with the Chauvin trial? What do you think the verdict will be? I have not, because it is incredibly tiring to see racism all the time. Just do not like it. So I just avoid it. until I have to, usually. Well, not usually. Sometimes, like, I go through periods of just, like, being like, I am not going to engage with this stuff because I am too tired to deal with it. So I have no idea. Hey, here's a hot tip. Here's a real hot tip. If you're commenting on my stream, talk about me and maybe not just only about other people that I know. It's a little disrespectful, I think. But you know, you do whatever. You do whatever. Ah, oh no, I accidentally opened up my own stream. I am actually very tired. That's clearly why this mistake happened. I apologize for that slight echo there. Ba ba da 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 da. There you go. There we go. Cool. Done. Um. Easter's basically over, and I didn't do any work. Yeah. Wait. Easter. When was Easter? I don't remember. What, Easter holidays? I don't know when holidays are. I don't know when anything is anymore. I don't. Weeks go by really fast. Do I watch Shameless? If so, what's my opinion on its final season? I do watch Shameless, but I am on season 4 or something. I don't watch it often, and I need to catch up. Don't give no spoilers. No spoilers at all. Don't do that because I have seen very little of it. Very, very good to disengage from it all for a bit. I mean, well, yeah, no. I feel like if I need to know something, I will. I will end up knowing it through osmosis. Like if, like, I know that, like, from what I've not actively like sought out anything about the trial. I have just picked up stuff through osmosis. At some point when the verdict comes out, I'll look at it and I'll see what happened, but there's nothing I can do about it now. And so digging into a trial that's going to make me feel bad doesn't make sense. But that's actually interesting. That reminds me of, like, what happens often, right? And I'm going to say this on stream. I'm going to continue talking about this till it stops happening. People send me racism all the time. They're like, hey, here's some racism you should know about. And I'm like, thanks. That makes me feel awful. Like, one person at one point was sending, I think they sent me Twitter DMs and Instagram DMs about, like, a school that was putting black kids in, like, concrete cages or something. And I was like, oh, God. And I read it, and it was like from this unsubstantiated source. And then they sent me, I didn't respond, and they sent me another message about it, I think with a better source. And I'm like, okay, cool, great. Now I know about more racism in the world. That makes me feel dandy. It's great. So please don't send me racism. I don't want to know about it. I just don't. Goodbye, Sandra. I will be leaving soon also. Gosh, what's going on here? When I'm researching a new topic, where do I start? Depends, really. With Sci Guys, sometimes I'll start on Wikipedia. Which which you get told not to use Wikipedia, which is true. Wikipedia can be untrustworthy. But if I genuinely have absolutely no grasp of a topic whatsoever, Wikipedia is a great place to start for some preliminary, like, sources, or to see the overarching story, and then I can kind of, like, I can maybe kind of have an idea of what it is I'm looking at, and then I can actually do some proper research on it, and really know what I'm looking for. But Wikipedia is good to know what, like, kind of most people think about something. That's something that someone I really respect actually said to me. Someone from a podcast that I quite like said that, yeah, Wikipedia is a really, really great place to look if you want to know what people like, what the common sort of consensus on something is, right? So if there's a common misconception, like, if you're going to be saying something, right, if you're going to be, like, saying something that is like not what's the word, not congruent with what most people think is the truth, Wikipedia is a great place to find what most people think is the truth. What is going on here? You like my jumper. Thanks. This is just from ASOS. It's a t-shirt. It's just a long sleeve t-shirt. But it is not the colors of a specific flag. It's just some colors. I like the stripes. Why do people say by osmosis when osmosis is for water only? Should they not be saying learned by diffusion? No, it's an idiom. So that's not how idioms work. They are it is metaphorical. In this case, the water is knowledge. It's knowledgey water. Any tips to become more confident? What I did when I was younger is I read this online. I read, just act like you are confident, and then you will end up being confident at some point. Fake it till you make it, and that was great. Except I ended up being arrogant, because I wasn't confident and I overdid it, and also I was overconfident in some things and I didn't realize it. So when I added on confidence on top of that, I became like super arrogant. Or at least I came off super arrogant, but I second guessed and hated everything I did. So I don't know if that's the best advice. Being more confident, I guess, is just a case of being um, more honest with yourself. Because usually, I guess usually, lack of confidence comes down to a lack of honesty with yourself on how good you are at doing the things that you do. Talk to your friends. Get your friends to gas you up because they will probably be quite happy to do that. Have I ever been to Australia? I have not been to Australia, but I've read many books about Australia. Ooh. Oh. Oh. And it seems like my webcam is overheated. So, that is time to go, I think. Goodbye. Thank you for watching.